The Fillmore Central Falcons coming off a fantastic season in 2022, getting ready to start 2023 this Friday night. We've added them to the mix of our Coach's Corner conversations. Head coach Chris Mensink joining us. And Coach, I know a solid nucleus returns from last year's group for your squad, but it is a different group of individuals, different team dynamic. Are there any characteristics from last year's very successful squad that you'd like to see carry over and kind of become staples of your program?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think the biggest thing is we lost 8 senior leaders. Not only were they good football players, they were good leaders and they were good humans. So these kids got a great front row seat and a view of how that they operated. And I hope that they continue that style of leadership. And we're going to need that as to keep things going.
And when you look at how the season ended last year, you make it to the state semifinals and a 1-point loss. You were that close. The way the season ended of the guys that are coming back, did that kind of maybe add to a little bit of hunger to take that next step this year?
Oh, I think so. Because when we ended our season and had our end of the year meeting, that was the first words out of their mouth when we talked about goals, was to get back to that point and finish the job. So, last year it was like, getting that out of them and are we capable of that? But now being there and been that and done that, they know that they're capable and know what it takes to get there. So definitely that's a goal of theirs, to get back there and hopefully can finish the job.
And as you very well know, seasons really don't start in August. They start in the off season as you try to get better and get the strength and conditioning up. What type of off season have you had?
Boy, we had a great off season. We had great attendance at our summer strength and agility. We had those kids. These seniors took the reins and made a lot of extra summer practices, captain's practices and things. We attended a bunch of 7-on-7 things and had some success. So our off season was about as good as we've had. So obviously you can take that momentum into the season, but now we're putting on the pads and like you said, preparing. We scrimmaged Chatfield just here a couple of days ago. So that was a great test for our kids. And now we're moving into week 1. Hard to believe it's week 1. It's Hayfield week. So yeah, they're definitely had a great summer and a lot of records broken in the weight room and things. So we definitely are in shape and fast and in good shape and ready to go.
You walked into my next question. What did you take away from seeing somebody beside yourself last Saturday?
Yeah, it's always good to put pads on and get a chance to see somebody else. We saw an odd front. Not so sure we're going to see that against Hayfield, but it was good for our kids. We got a great film on it. So at practice today, we have a good starting point and those new kids that were fitting into spots and some people maybe moving around a little bit. We'll have a good view of that on film to start improving.
As for preseason camp itself, how much growth have you made? What's pleased you the most about the guys since you've been getting ready a couple weeks back?
Yeah, I think the kids that have fit in there, they're learning their responsibilities. The guys that were there last year and are next to them are really pulling them along and helping them in that process. So I'm very happy with what we see so far. But like you said, we got six starters back, so about half of those kids are new. So every season's a new year. The 2023 Falcons, we need to gel as a team and put our best foot forward.
You talked about the leadership and the experience factors, but other factors on the field. What are those question marks you'll be seeking answers to once you take the field Friday night?
Yeah, well, I think we saw a lot in the scrimmage. We had some questions that were answered. Some of these younger kids, we got a couple sophomores that might see some time. So moving from the JV to the varsity level and the speed of the game and how quick you have to respond and things like that, those were some things that I was pleasantly surprised with, I think, on Saturday. That was kids made some good strides. So, but again, we're young in some spots and we're going to have that leadership step up and bring those kids with us and get us to where we need to be.
And you mentioned Hayfield, your opponent. What are you expecting out of the Vikings this week?
Well, Hayfield lost a lot of kids too, right? That's the nature of high school football. It's, you talk about your seniors, but seniors leave and you bring new kids in and somebody else steps in those roles. And I know that they lost Chris Pack and one of their good receivers and Maddie and one of their big linemen moved out of the district. But I think I talked to their AD the other day and they have 28 kids, 9 through 12. So they're going to have some holes to fill as well. So scheme wise, they may be trying some different things. That first game of the year is always interesting because you've got last year's film, but last year's film doesn't mean a whole lot because it's a whole new group of kids.
And when preparing for a week number one opponent, how much do you just worry about yourself in week number one? How much do you try to put a little bit of a scouting report together so your kids have a little bit of an idea of what to expect?
Right. You try to give them a little bit of everything. We have an idea what we think they might do, but there again, once the ball's kicked up, that might go right in the trash, and that's our job as coaches to get them ready. So you got to do a little bit of everything. Of course, in football, you got so many different special teams and all these things to get in and prepare for. So I think we've had a good summer, and that's been our focus all summer, is to get ready for the scrimmage in week one. That's all you can do, and you can't look past that. So hopefully our kids will be ready for that challenge here Friday night.
All right, Coach, keep your guys healthy. Hopefully you can get off to another great season of football Friday night with victory. We wish best of luck.
Thanks, Darren. We appreciate you having us on.
Chris Mensink, head coach of the Fillmore Central Falcons. It's Fillmore Central and Hayfield in week number one.